The morning sun painted golden streaks across the glass walls of Anderton Enterprises, one of the city's tallest towers. Inside, the day had begun like any other, keyboards clicking, phones ringing, the hum of ambition echoing in every corner until a sudden piercing cry shattered the rhythm. "Help! Somebody help! My mom's not moving." The voice belonged to a little girl, no more than 7, her cheeks wet with tears as she knelt beside her mother's motionless body on the cold marble floor. The once invincible CEO, Claire Anderton, lay collapsed beside her desk, her hand still clutching a pen. Papers scattered like fallen leaves. For a few heartbeats, no one moved. Executives froze at their doors, assistants gasped, and even the guards hesitated. But then a figure broke through the shock, a janitor named Daniel Rios. His gray uniform was creased. From long hours of quiet work, his eyes weary but kind. Without thinking twice, Daniel rushed forward, kneeling beside Claire. He checked her pulse. Weak. Too weak. "Stay with me," he whispered, loosening her collar and tilting her head back. His hands pressed firmly against her chest, each compression fueled by urgency and something deeper, a memory he had tried to bury. Years ago, Daniel had been a paramedic, the kind who ran toward emergencies when others ran away. But one night, after failing to save his wife in a car crash, he had lost everything: his career, his confidence, and his will to keep fighting. Now he was a janitor, invisible to those who walked the halls in suits and heels. Yet in this moment, instinct took over. As he worked to bring Claire back, her daughter Emma clung to her mother's arm, sobbing. "Please, Mommy, please wake up." Daniel's voice trembled. "Come on, Claire, don't give up on her." Time dragged painfully. The crowd at the door whispered, but no one dared to interfere. And then Claire gasped. Her chest rose sharply, air filling her lungs again. The relief that followed rippled through the entire floor. Emma cried out with joy, throwing herself into her mother's arms, while Daniel sat back, breathless, trembling from adrenaline and disbelief. He didn't wait for applause. He quietly stepped away, leaning against the wall, eyes wet with silent gratitude. When paramedics arrived and carried Claire away, she looked at him, her eyes full of life again, and mouthed, "Thank you." For Daniel, that was enough. Days passed, and the story spread like wildfire through the building. The janitor who saved the CEO. Some called it a miracle. Others couldn't believe it. For many, Daniel was just the man with the mop, but now he was a hero. People began greeting him in the halls, smiling where they once looked past him. Still, Daniel felt uneasy. The incident had reopened wounds he thought were long healed. Saving Claire had reminded him of the night he couldn't save his wife, but instead of guilt, this time he felt peace. Maybe, just maybe, this was his second chance. 2 weeks later, Claire returned to the office. Instead of heading to her boardroom, she went straight to the basement where Daniel worked. The moment she appeared, the staff fell silent. No CEO ever came down there. But Claire walked right up to him, tears in her eyes, and embraced him tightly. "You didn't just save my life," she whispered. "You saved my daughter's world." Daniel stood still, his eyes glistening. "I just did what anyone would do," he murmured. Claire shook her head. Not everyone would have. From that day forward, things began to change. Claire offered Daniel a position on the company's emergency response and safety training program. He hesitated, saying softly, "I don't want recognition. I just want to help where I can." Claire smiled and replied, "Then help me build something better." Together, they launched Project Second Chance, a company initiative to hire and support people who had fallen on hard times but wanted to rebuild their lives. Months passed, and Daniel became more than a janitor. He became a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. Emma often visited him, bringing handmade cards that said things like "My hero" and "Thank you, Mr. Dan." Those small tokens meant more to him than any award could. One afternoon, Claire called Daniel to her office and said softly, "I never told you this, but when I woke up that day, I saw your face first. My late husband was a paramedic too. For a second, I thought maybe he had sent you." Daniel smiled through misty eyes. "Maybe he did," he said gently. In the months that followed, Claire became a more compassionate leader, and Daniel found peace with his past. Two people from different worlds, connected by one moment of courage and kindness, changed the meaning of success forever. And in the quiet corners of that glass tower, Daniel's story lived on, not as a tale of heroism, but as proof that sometimes the humblest souls carry the greatest strength.